Good morning, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Film Foodie, the show where I try food from film, television, games, and other media. And today on the docket, we're taking a look at a very special anime, and there's a show, and that it's an anime, and that you probably shouldn't watch it if you were any kind of civilized. Today, we're looking at Kill a Kill. And the food in question is that very traditional Osaka street food, takoyaki. So what is Kill la Kill? Kill la Kill is a 2013-2014 anime about a teenage girl who goes to a military academy to avenge her father's death. Armed with only a giant half of a scissor called the scissor blade, she fights her way through many different students and eventually, it goes off the rails very quickly. It's one of those shows where you either buy into the premise or you completely lose focus. Anyway, so, during the show, the main character's best friend, Mako, ends up in Osaka. And she wants to try some Osaka street food. And, so she gets shot with a money gun to pay for it. Again, the show is insane. And she gets this. Well, something like this. Hers was covered in, Japanese mayonnaise and bonita flake and stuff, but this is good, too. And we shall eat it with a toothpick like she did. We'll try it without the soy sauce first. That's really good. So what is takoyaki? It is a octopus dumpling, or an octopus ball if you'd rather be weird about it. Now, but I tried it the way she did, so now we'll just do this to dip it in the soy sauce. That's really good. I originally got this to share with my brother, but he didn't want to have any because these octopus dumplings are very undercooked. It's a common problem in American takoyaki because, real takoyaki is sitting on the street corner. It's cooking constantly. But in America, because there aren't really any takoyaki stands, it's kind of made to order. And takoyaki can contain a lot of things. Corn, edamame, bonito. You can see here a little octopus chunk. Yeah. I'm going to end up eating this, and then I'm going to have to do the rest of the video without it. A little greasy, but it's really good. And then, of course, you have some mixed greens as a palate cleanser. Oh. So why do I like Kill la Kill and what's wrong with it? Well, uh, it's very gratuitous. Um, so the main character of the show is 17, and she gets special armor called a kamui. And when it transforms, or it starts off as a sailor uniform, which is common for like Japanese schoolgirl clothing. But when it transforms, it turns into bikini armor, very similar to your Xenas, your Red Sonias, but like anime looking, you know? And the idea is that the Kamui is made from an alien symbiote known as the life fibers. And life fibers are extremely powerful, but the closer in contact they are, the more in contact they are with your skin, the more blood they take out of you, and the faster it kills you. So by limiting the contact between cloth and skin, you limit the amount of blood that the thing is taking in. Like, the whole show is predicated on this idea of fashion and fascism having like the same root word in Italian or something, and then also, excuse me, that they sound almost identical in Japanese or something like that. And this show gets very weird and very grotesque sometimes. And like, I can kind of hang my like I can kind of hang common sense sometimes and trade it for a story where it's like, but then suddenly I realize that I'm at work folding laundry at like, 1 a.m. and this 17-year-old's, bare butt is on screen and I'm just like, oh, I probably shouldn't be watching this, huh? Because you create this dissonance between yourself and what's actually happening, where you try to, because like you're so numb to anime at this point that you forget how grotesque it can be sometimes. And like, Kill la Kill pretends to be a parody of that like eye catch, that like that like a cheesecakey anime. But it goes full in on the cheesecake. And it has some really, really gross stuff toward the end. There's a character named Aragio. Those who've seen the anime know what I'm about to mention. Those who haven't seen the anime, I'll try to spare you the details. But she's earned a nickname within the Kill la Kill fan base called, like, I think it's like Mommy Bad Touch. And it's exactly what it sounds like. I don't want to describe it because this is I try to keep this PG. The occasional cuss word, and if you're lucky, one F-bomb. Like 80s PG. Although if it were 80s PG, I'd be bleeding a lot more. Like, can you believe that Jaws and Poltergeist are PG? Insane, totally insane. And like, there was I once watched a Pink Panther movie. I think it was right after Peter Sellers died, and they were like, because they were using, it was basically like a clip show where they were splicing in images of past Pink Panther movies alongside interviews of Jacques Clouseau's friends and family, including his father, who is a Vinter. And behind him are just two naked women wrestling in one of those, like, grape crushing vats you see. Utterly insane. Anyway. But the show has but like, back to Kill la Kill. It's got a very good style. And I love the characters. I love, like, the main character, Ryuko. I love how, like, she's kind of this, she's The Japanese term for it is sukaban, basically like delinquent girl. In fact, Ryuko's design is based on an old Japanese live action show called Sukeban Deka, which is Delinquent Girl Detective. Excuse me. Which, if you like old Sentai shows, you'd probably like it. A girl fights crime with a yo-yo. Anyway. But she's like this very, like, it, there's, where it's like, kind of dumb, but really, really kick-ass and like, I'm a badass kind of person. She's that kind of character. Like Korra from Legend of Korra, or, I don't know, like, it's hard to describe it in American terms sometimes. But do the positives outweigh the negatives? I don't know. I'm not the one to say that. I'm just some idiot. Um, would I recommend watching it? No. It is a very of its time anime. Like the late or the early 2010s when it came out, it was very like, in your face, gratuitous. It like characters are spewing blood half naked, and it's really weird. Although I will say it does invert the trope of like way too young to be doing any of this, because like the characters are all late high school. Um, like the main, not main villain, but like main rival is 18. One of her toadies is actually 21. Excuse me. And like most of the other, and so it's not totally like, but it is very, it's not here, it's here, it's only a little. How do I describe it without like being gross? And like, and before we all get judgmental, remember that Romeo and Juliet is a tryst between a 13-year-old girl and a 16-year-old boy that culminates in like 6 or 7 deaths. Um, you know, the world is messed up, and we shouldn't allow it. We should always strive to be better. And cultural things, like, they're bad, but I don't know. I can't comment on it. I'm just me. I enjoy the show and I think it's fun. I mean, for God's sakes, I spent $200 to get the anime on DVD, to get the English dub of the anime on DVD back in 2016, I think. That was my first major purchase. I spent all my spare money out of that anime convention buying those stupid anime discs, only for it to eventually get put on Hulu. But that'll be it for me today. You all have a good one. This is Royce Miller. I'm out.